Guys, welcome back. BDC Air here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of October 23rd, 2025. The current character challenge is Red Lantern Hal Jordan. That is a 1-week repeat. The required characters for that are Bane, Joker, and Catwoman, who you can get at Silver, and Bronze tier, respectively, if you're looking at the easiest version of each character to get. His passive is Red Lantern Raid, which is special attacks and super move use. Special attacks and super move use health instead of power, not use. And then Red Lantern Hal cannot be healed. He's got 950 attack and 1,400 health as his base stats. It's last available just about a year ago, October 10th of 2024.
Every time we do one of these and we review a challenge character that we've done before, sometimes I come to it with fresh eyes and I'm reading his passive. And I know 100% you cannot exclude the limitations, right? That part of the reason why there's that sort of Faustian bargain between, do I use more power and lose health that I can't get back? So you can't not have it. There's nowhere else you can put the fact that you can't gain his health back.
Yeah.
But it feels worse that they stuck it in a separate sentence, because usually each sentence in a passive is another ability.
Is
something
a benefit.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So special attacks and super move use health instead of power, health which cannot be replenished instead of power which cannot be healed. To me that would feel less. It probably doesn't matter. It's partly because I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, but there's an upside and a downside instead of just like sometimes multiple upsides.
Yeah. So this Q and the usual joke, I always get them mixed up. I say the wrong name always because they're both Green Lanterns. I often will mix up Red Sun, Green Lantern, Red Lantern Hal Jordan, or even do combinations of their names and totally mess it up. So out of all the challenge characters that we've played, I think Red Lantern Hal Jordan is maybe one of the few who cannot be your main damage dealer in multiplayer, no matter how you set up the teams or the teammates. And when I say main damage dealer, I mean consistently taking out the entire opponent's team. Even half the time. Like, 1, for sure. 2, a lot of times he can, and we've demonstrated a few fights where even though it would be faster to use his teammates, that he can handle a couple of opponents. But 3, I think he just doesn't have a big enough health pool, and I don't think he's good. You can make him a good enough basic damage dealer. I mean, that's the other sort of pivot, right? Instead of using his specials, you just use his basic attacks and then you lose no health.
But then he's not that much better than anyone else, really. There's no passive alignment, right? There's no benefit. And I will say that we're coming from a perspective of wanting to win and win fast and have really good characters. But there is something to be said for, if you're playing multiplayer, to have a guy that you can slot on most teams who can usually pretty reliably take out at least one other person. Yeah. Right? So there's value there for sure, especially if you're at a point where winning is not always a foregone conclusion.
Sure.
Right? Being able to take out 1.5 guys worth of health just by hitting the special a bunch is, has a place, especially if you have a smaller roster.
Right. And now with our main complaint now that he can't handle the entire team. Before he was nerfed, he could. And he used to be amazing. So he's decent now. But part of our disappointment with him is just how good he used to be.
Yeah.
We've got a video, link in the description, demonstrating him when he was first released, and it's wild. Not only was he really good, he was super fast. We've even got a playlist of just fights with Hal Jordan on team, and 2 main ways he was nerfed. I feel like we just did talk about this a couple days ago, but worth sort of rehashing because our bigger audience watches the recaps. He used to get his power back immediately, didn't need to wait until his power sort of trickled back in, or that he regenerated power. And his special 2 used to do more than stated damage, and now it does less than the stated damage.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't have enough health. He runs out of health. The cost for each special, he runs out of health before he can do enough specials to finish the opponent. And there's no real great way to increase his basic damage output or specials output enough to take on a full enemy team of 3 characters. And we're trying here because we've leveraged both the Quick Engine to boost the amount of damage against an opponent with less than a bar power. And we are also using Enchantress Companion gear to launch some skulls. Again, more damage for free, basically.
Yeah.
And he's still okay. The reason why we got Astro Harness on him is, as you can see, when he's invulnerable, he doesn't lose health when he does a special. You've got enough time in there to, with the first invulnerability, to do any of a special 1, special 2, special 3. You can follow it up with a special 1. Because it takes so long for him to get back power, his second special has to be a special 1 in order for him to not lose more health. Mm-hmm. Other ways you can do it that we're not here is John Stewart Green Lantern as a teammate. Gives you another invulnerability for another free special. Necron Scythe for revive. After you run out of health, you get that little bit of extra to do another special. Or 2 pieces of Fourth World Gear Set for revive, again, after you run out of health. We've prioritized just doing more damage instead of getting more health. Mm-hmm. So special 2 actually takes about 20% health, not almost, or not about, it is pretty much exactly. So that you can do 4 special 2s, and the 5th one, if you take no other damage, will still knock you out. So you can he's good for 4 special 2s, and the best way is probably 4 special 2s and special 1s to get the most value out of his health.
Yeah, 4 special 2s, 1 special 1, and then just fight with him for the rest of his health.
Right. And that's an interesting thing is that if his health doesn't divide easily into 5, you could potentially, with a minor health augmentation, boost up his health so he will have at least 1 health after doing 5 special 2s, because it'll be sort of a fraction of what's left. And that's a good way to squeeze out a bit more. So this is one of the few guys where I think it's worth doing an augmentation. Just make sure you don't do it to a number that's divisible by 5. Mm-hmm. We've used him before with Claw of Horse and Enchantress Companion Gear a lot, because then he can act as a gear shatterer on a team where somebody else is a special specialist, and he can do it with 2 special 1s. Mm-hmm. Special 1, launch the skulls, and while the skulls are launching, do a second special 1, and you've got enough time for that.
Yeah.
I guess it really is that he just loses health so quickly. So he can't be your primary specialist, but the fact that he's got power immediately makes him a good secondary one. Mm-hmm. This week's fights, anything else to say about this week different than before? No, it's a slightly different gear loaded than we do when he's the secondary guy, and you can see we're really struggling to make him the primary damage dealer.
Yeah.
And that's with intentionally using him to do more damage. And you can see a few examples where he takes out 2 of the opponents.
Yeah. Okay. So based off of the challenge cycle, we expect next week to be Batman, Ninja Lord, Joker. We are essentially 24 weeks into what looks to be a new cycle that is 54 weeks long, but we won't be able to tell until we've gone through 2 complete run-throughs of it.
So that we know it's actually repeating.
Yeah, so that we know it's repeating consistently. Yeah. So the key information is it's probably Batman, Ninja Lord, Joker next week. It's a high degree of confidence, but not complete certainty.
Right.
This week's multiplayer reward is Metahuman Flash. His passive is Super Speed, which is upon special attack or super move activation, basic attacks temporarily triple in speed with a chance to be unblockable and do critical damage. And he's got 1,200 for both his base attack and health. He was last available in March of this year. Next week, we expect to see Reverse Flash.
Right, because we are back to the previous year's cycles and not the most recent, which was a bit of an aberration where they skipped a couple and stuck them back in, and then probably sometime, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, and 7 weeks from now, we'll have back to the we'll know that we've gone through all the time where they were all messed up the last rotation. Mm-hmm. So Metahuman Flash has got decent middle, high-ish kind of stats. And the wording on his passive is not exactly right. It's not that he triples in speed, because that would be kind of fun, actually.
Yeah.
It would be hard to control.
It would be better, it would be more interesting, but it would be worse, actually.
Right, because to handle something where you go that fast, because sometimes you commit to an action before you realize what's happening.
You just be swiping as quickly as humanly possible, and you'd be,
But what happens is that for each regular basic attack, he will hit 3 times. Mm-hmm. Passive lasts longer the more power you use, so super speed lasts the longest after super, which lasts longer than special 2, and the shortest is after special 1. He can be fun to play if you give him power generation boosting gear and more unblockable chance, because after his passive triggers, Metahuman Flash generates power a lot faster because of all the extra hits, right? So he's generating power 3 times as fast, and you can generate enough power before his passive runs out so that you can do another special and trigger his passive again. Hyperspeed plated suit is great because it's a power generation boost for everybody and an unblockable chance for Flash.
Yeah, and unblockable chances on basic attacks are like essentially 3 times as good here.
Yeah, because, and what's the advantage of Flash is because all the Flashes have the mechanism where on the swipe attack, one swipe gives you the first 2 hits.
Mm-hmm.
So that means, so when you play against the AI, against the computer, their advantage is they will finish their combo even if you block. The opposite is not true. So when they block you, your combo finishes.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Flash, instead of stopping right away after just the 1 hit, he will do the 2. Now he will do 6.
Yeah. And with 6 hits, it's really, really likely that you'll break their block. So it means that in the vast majority of outcomes, just swiping randomly will give you, full combos over and over again.
Yep. The main problem is that the current meta still favors specials. And his passive really makes him shine as a basic damage dealer who happens to get super powered when he does specials.
Mm-hmm.
So one way that we've tried to play him is in the Justice League team that we've had, where we swap out Flashpoint Batman and put in Metahuman Flash for our basic damage dealer. And we use New 52 Wonder Woman to trigger his passive by giving him power over and over and over so that he can do a special as soon as he comes in. And then that way you leave all his gear slots free for basic damage gears to make him even better.
Mm-hmm.
Our most recent attempts, and most effective, I think, attempts to use him involved gear for unblockable basics. Then we added, in a slight deviation from that sort of principle, we added Enchantress Companion gear so that when he does a special to power up his passive, he has a chance to do another basic combo immediately after without worrying about being hit with a special. Right? Mm-hmm. So you do a special, he's powered up, opponent can't do a special against us, and they're going to be vulnerable when we wait for the skulls to land.
Mm-hmm.
Another problem, though, is that disadvantage is that you don't get his benefit. If you need to use a basic damage dealer right away, it's not like Flashpoint Batman where you can use him right away. You got to sort of set him up to be good.
So he's pretty fun, though. On the balance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And Flashes in general are just pretty fun to play with.
I love all the Flashes. That was my favorite character. The first character I bought in the store directly was the Silver Flash, Regime Flash.
Mm-hmm. So there we go. Moving on to the store, we have the Demon King bundle Batman Ninja Lord Joker for $24.99. Prices in Canadian because that's the information we have access to.
And that's the only currency that matters.
Mm-hmm. So that is a corroborate included next week. It comes with 100,000 power credits, but it does not unlock in the store. So as always, it's not really worth it unless for some reason you want exactly one copy of this character and you've got $25 burning a hole in your pocket.
Yeah. And maybe trivia, maybe not. I think he might be the only pack where it comes with 100,000 credits, but the credits aren't pictured on the outside of the pack.
Oh,
graphic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We also have the character bundle Flash TV, again $24.99, and that comes with Metahuman Flash and Reverse Flash, and 2 of the same gear. You get 2 copies of Hyperspeed plated suit. They're both multiplayer reward characters. So, as far as things go, if you're trading money for characters, you're never unlocking these guys in your store anyways.
Yeah.
Maybe for whatever reason you do need exactly one of each of these guys, and it's going to save you some time playing in the leaderboards on weeks that you can't do it. So this is relatively more worth it, although I would still say overpriced for what it is, right? It's very rare that you need any 2 characters bad enough that you really just want to pay. Moving on, Phantom Zone is back for this week as well as next week. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, and Lobo. So this coming weekend should be Lex Luthor, Batman, and Doomsday. And you can take a look at the link in the description if you want to check out a thread from Devlin16 to look through the breakthrough cycle for yourself.
Right.
And as far as current glitches go, we go into more detail every time something significant changes, which at this point basically never happens. But what happens significantly more often is we have the first recap of every month, and we do go into more detail on the first recap of every month no matter what. Most recently, that was our recap from the 2nd of October 2025,
right,
this year. You can always see a video tutorial for every working glitch in our playlist Current Working Glitches. That's linked in the description, probably in the top right in the little eye right now. The main thing worth mentioning this week is that the challenge reset glitch has been confirmed to be working on this week's Red Lantern Hal Jordan challenge, as well as on Phantom Zone.
Right.
There you go. To finish up, we'd just like to give a huge thank you to a variety of different people. First and foremost, the people that we know the names of, which are our patrons on Patreon. Those are people who are chipping in a little bit to help us.
And that would be Michael Devries, Irvin Ruiz, Hoshi127, Nora Klimek, and Miguel, who are supporting us on the credited level.
So that's a huge thank you to you, and also a slightly more diffuse and less specific thank you to all of you who support us in any way that you do. So thank you for watching. Thanks for, if you comment a bunch, we might recognize your name. If you're watching, you're sort of part of the nameless horde. You're just a number on our screen. But we still appreciate it. It's cool that people are still watching us and putting time and energy into us, even if, it's a second screen kind of content or whatever. So thank you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Komoda.